Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Let's continue.
Because of this, we must not be afraid of hardship or difficulties and apply effort to cultivate.
这个头可以掉，可以斩落的。咱们这个不参禅不打坐是不可以。
It is okay to lose the head, to chop it off, but we can't stop investigating Chan or meditating.
Okay, so the Master says, do not be afraid of hardship and difficulties, and apply efforts to cultivate. Okay, this is what the Chan masters teach their students. Okay, for us in this Dharma ending era, we need a bit better instructions on this. For the Asians, cultivation is part of the culture. For here, cultivation is stupid. It's nonsense. Okay, because that's much more rewarding to not cultivate. You go see, enjoy yourself so that you can relax and go back to work the following day. Okay, you relax on the weekend to recharge and so forth. Why would you want to cultivate? In particular, when you have some vacation time during Christmas and New Year's, why would you want to come to the temple? Are they coming? Mary Jo and Jim? They've given up already. Okay, so why would you want to go to the temple and instead of taking vacation and spend a week in Florida or, for God's sakes, Texas? Why would you want to go to Texas or live in Texas? Beats me. But anyway, so you go on vacation for a week and enjoy yourself, unwind and relax, instead of going to the temple and face the hardship and difficulties. Hardships of crossing your legs, difficulties of not sleeping enough, apply efforts to cultivate. So these, for us Westerners, this is nonsense. This is a turn off for us. So the outsiders look at us as these people. They're not normal. Okay, and it's justifiable. So, but for our case, I submit to you, it's slightly different. Okay, we are here cultivating for 10 weeks, hopefully. And we face hardship, we face difficulties, we apply efforts to cultivate. Why? How can you tell the outsiders, ordinary people, worldly people, why are we doing this? And this is where, when you explain things to people, you need to do a better job justifying this. Remember the other day, it's such a good tip. A husband related that his wife used to come to the temple, and he used to object to that. And she says, I came to the temple because it's good for us, it's good for you, it's good for me, it's good for our relationship. And so how can you say no to that? How can you object to that? You see? Keep that in mind. You need to get, every time you go to the temple, you need to have some kind of support from your family. Okay, so you need to cultivate that, and overcome their reluctance or their insecurities, or they feel they're competing with the temple for your time. So I suggest to you that when we talk to people like this and tell them go and practice Chan, apparently, the way it stands right now, this is, thank you, this is probably the last chance you have to do 10 weeks here, because next year we plan to split it. 5 weeks down here, 5 weeks up north. Okay, we are invading Northern California, so we bring the Dharma up there. So we will organize the cheese up there. Okay, and the summer cheese will rotate. We alternate from one summer here and one summer up there. All right, so that's how we plan to do it. So this is your last chance to do the 10 weeks for a while, until we have, until our plans change, until we have other plans, more facilities, more manpower, and so forth. We will have a lot more to offer you, okay? But we need some time, because you need to take care of the people first. You have to work first, cultivate later. That's our attitude. Okay, we have work to do. People cannot wait for us to finish cultivating, to help them. So you see, the reason that you can explain to people, and besides the fact I'm here, we're doing this because it's beneficial for me, which then it's improves our relationships and so forth. Okay, but the reason you're here, I mean, you explain to the other people who wish to cultivate, and plenty of Asians, plenty of people who wish to cultivate. It's because we specifically to face hardship, to resolve, to endure difficulties, and really work hard and work harder, because the people who do that here at Wei Mountain Temple, at our way places, okay, they dare invest a week of their time. They dare invest, take time from your personal lives and invest in here. They improve. You name a way place, a temple where you come, you work hard, you apply efforts for a chi, a 2 chi, 3 chis, 4 chis, and you walk away and say, wow, I feel better, I'm healthier, I'm more at peace, and more, I feel more blissful, and so forth. Yes or no? Don't raise your hands. You see that? And that's why, and this is why, this is how we should talk. You should talk to people, because I can't say it, because I'm promoting myself. I can't do that. It's not cool. Americans look down upon you. You promote yourself. It's for salespeople, cheap salespeople. Okay, we don't do that. But you can look at yourself, look around you. The people who come and invest this kind of time at this difficult and demanding, rigorous program, they actually improve. A good percentage of them really improve. If they don't, they're sowing the seeds to improve. Okay, and this is why I wish to differentiate ourselves as American Wei Yang, because the way we do is quite different from a Chinese Wei Yang, the way that Master YongHua taught them, trained them, and or what his disciples got out of it. I didn't go through that path. I was on a different path. Okay, and so that's why our style is different. Okay, and that's why I insist on differentiating ourselves as American Wei Yang as compared to what I call Chinese Wei Yang over there. It's too Chinese for me. I'm not impressed. Okay? So, American, what is American Wei Yang? Okay? We are accountable for being here to you, to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. because we know when we're doing this, we are able to do this year after year after year, in spite of a lot of obstructions and difficulties and hardships. It's because we get a lot of help from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas too. I assure you, they're watching over us, they're helping us. It's because this is one of the last places on earth where, especially in the West, where white people are, and black people, and red people. You are so racist. I'm waiting for a reaction, but you have no reaction. That's how racist you are. Okay? So this is where we are accountable, and we're getting a lot of help from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and therefore we must be accountable to them and accountable to the people who have been supporting us. So a lot of support we're receiving, I assure you. I'm very grateful for that. Okay? That's why it's quite different. When we do this, we rack our brains, look at you, okay? Try to figure out how to help you improve, how to make it better for you. Every time. That's our ethos. You know what ethos is? Ethos is Greek. I'm trying to impress my disciples. They're either Chinese, the Chinese are too Chinese. They only want Chinese food, speak Chinese, or the Vietnamese, same thing, Korean, same thing. So when we throw things at them, ethos, what's that? It sounds like a fish. It's Greek sushi, mind you. It's just kidding. Go ahead, 4.
Thank you, Master. I'm very impressed that you used ethos. As an English major in college, we were taught about the 3 rhetorical appeals: ethos, logos, and pathos. The ethical, the logical, and the pathetic.
Pathos? Pathetic? Explain pathetic. That's interesting.
Yeah. Over time, pathetic became the emotional. So kind of like empathetic, if you will.
Okay. That I can understand.
And those were the 3 rhetorical devices of argumentation or making a point.
Persuasion, argumentation,
correct.
salesmanship. Ethos, logos, and pathos. Beautiful. Thank you. See, you learn from the Greek. They're not perfect, but it's pretty good. Yes, 9.
Master Diego Alfonso asked, Master, this is a little bit off topic, but I've heard that a tattoo or piercing affects the flow of energy in your body. Is that true?
Only while you're being tattooed or being pierced. Otherwise, it doesn't. Unless, actually, there is an exception. If like you tattoo the face of Satan on your chest, right here, okay? Yeah, then it might affect your chi because you're inviting Satan to be with you. Okay, but otherwise, tattoos is no big deal. However, is there still a follow-up question? Or still more questions?
I just have a question following that. What happens if people have the tattoo of a Buddha, Kuan Yin, or heart mantra, or Om Mani Padme Hum on their hands? Would they have any effect?
Oh, it is. It's very good. Now you become a Dharma vessel. So if you have you tattoo, let's say the Xin Jing or a picture of Buddha or something, then I would use you as a Dharma vessel. I say, would you like to know Xin Jing, the Heart Sutra? I say, hey, open your chest. Sure. Okay? In fact, it's interesting. Master Shenhua, someone related to me when I was becoming fully ordained at my Vietnamese master's temple. Okay, it was suggested that based on the Chinese tradition, Vietnamese tradition, when you become a monk, you burn something on top of your head, holes on top of your head. Okay, and so a nun, offered to do it for me. She says, I know what to do. I've done this before. I've done it many times, and I even, I bring the incense. They have this pyramid that looks like Hershey's Kiss. You know what I'm talking about? And that small kind of droplet, you put it on top and you burn it, okay? And then she says, I even have aloe vera, which will soothe it so it won't hurt as much, okay? So that's what she suggested I should do, to be a professional monk. I say, hell no. To me, it's too barbaric to burn yourself like that, okay? To torture yourself like that. To me, for a Western educated person, it's nonsense, okay? When I have any real wisdom at all, then at that time I might decide, I have nothing else to offer the Buddha, so I offer my body, I offer my pain, okay? I have no problem doing that when I decide it's out of wisdom. Until then, I offer to the Buddha and Bodhisattvas my leg pains, my hip pains, my back pains, and so forth, my lack of sleep. That's my offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. But to burn myself, because it's by tradition, it doesn't fly well with me. Okay, so I refuse to do that. Did you want to say something, old monk? How come you don't have any burn scars on your head?
A Di Đà Phật, theo con nghĩ á, là người ta đốt á, là theo trong cái truyền thống trong Kinh Lăng Nghiêm. Sau khi Đức Phật giảng Kinh Lăng Nghiêm rồi, Đức Phật mới nói là cái chúng sanh mình có khuynh hướng là tạo tội nhiều đời nhiều kiếp như vậy đó. Thì ai mà biết như vậy, bây giờ dùng một cái cây nhang hay là cái gì đó đốt một phần thân thể, thì những cái tội của mấy ông nó được tiêu diệt hết. Thành ra vì cái ý đó mà họ làm như vậy, chứ không phải làm cho mình hỏi ông Tăng, bà Ni nổi tiếng hay đẹp trai hay là thế này thế kia. Rồi tôi con nghĩ là người ta làm theo trong Kinh Lăng Nghiêm vậy.
Okay.
Đốt một phần thân thể, hoặc một ngón tay, hoặc một lóng tay, để mà nó tiêu diệt cái tội mấy ông nhiều đời nhiều kiếp, chứng tỏ mấy ông thành thật, mấy ông muốn tu. Cái hành động đó nó tiêu tất cả tội chướng của các ông. Chứ không phải để mà mình nổi tiếng ông Tăng bà Ni có đẹp trai 3 chấm 8 chấm là người ta hiểu tầm bậy. Hết.
Master, I think like the reason that people follow the tradition to burn their body is because this is based on the Surangama Sutra. The Buddha said that because living being has been created a lot of offenses, so whoever aware of it, and then if they use the incense to burn a part of their body, then this action will help eradicate all of their offenses. This is the purpose of it. It's not for getting fame or become more handsome or whatever. So you can burn a part of your body or you burn your finger. This is for the purpose of show your sincerity and to eradicate your offenses.
Who would you like to do that? Who would like to do that? Raise your hand. The Buddha taught so. Who would like to do that? Okay, Peter would like to do that. Seriously? You would do it?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay.
But thank you, Master. But I wanted to say I'm so happy because Venerable Old Monk always is quoting different sutras, and for once I actually read a similar thing in the Surangama Sutra.
Yeah, I don't remember that section for some reason.
It's very much it's in the very beginning, Master. That's how I know I read it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's in the first book, and I
Master
remember
Shinho's book.
the copy that City of 10,000 Buddhas puts out.
Yeah, that's
with
Master
his
Shinho,
explanation. Yes.
Yeah, that's Master Shinho's.
And they talk about my memory of it is they talk about you get to a certain point as a left-home person, then you can cut a little hole in your body and put some oil in it and then light it on fire, and you become like a candle lit to the Buddha out of like respect. And the reaction you're having is about 1/1,000,000th of the reaction I had, which was, man, you can check off becoming a left-home person on the list if this is one of the requirements, because it's pretty intense.
Yeah, no wonder I subconsciously deny those things, ignore those things, erase those things from my memory. Yes, 9. Thank you. It's very good. Mm-hmm.
Master, back to the tattoo topic. So if they have the tattoo of the Buddha and stuff, but then when they committed the 5 in the precepts that say if they committed sex in front of the statue or so, would they have any effect on it?
One question at a time. You ask too many questions. I'm trying to relate to you the story of burning incense. So burning incense to me is such a savage type of thing to do for Western sensibilities. Okay, but I heard of this person, disciple Master Shinhua, who decided to burn something like part of Ersto Bodhisattva's name, or either his name or part of his vow. He says, if the hells are not empty, I will not become a Buddha. Okay, something like that. Okay, and so this guy here decided to do that. So a non-disciple of Master Shinhua helped him. Okay, so she helped put the incense, place the incense in that formation on his back, and they actually burned it on his back. And the guy the back, of course, was swollen it's the entire back. So the back was swollen for 3 or 4 days, and he was in such great pain. Okay? And he related something very interesting. He says, it is so painful because it's a burn. It's what is it? First degree burn? Okay? Pretty severe. And when you let the incense thing burn through, I mean, that's a long time. Just thinking about it, make you feel like passing out. But the guy says at night I couldn't sleep, so he would sleep, lie, face down, and it was so much pain he couldn't even sleep at all. But amazingly, she has a story to tell. Cô Yin, spy number 18.
Mô Phật bạch thầy nói về đốt tay đồ này kia, thầy Quả Ngân thầy không biết. Thầy sư cô Hằng Lượng á, thầy đốt cái tay rất là nhiều, đốt tới 2 cái tay một vậy đó. Rồi cái con mới hỏi nó, sư cô đốt cái này cái gì này? Nó mình đốt thì mình cúng dường cho Phật. Tôi trả lời nó, trời, tôi tưởng là sư cô đốt rồi để tiêu nghiệp. Thì sư cô mới là đốt rồi để cúng dường cho Phật. Thì Quả Ngân mới trả lời nó, tôi tưởng là sư cô đốt rồi để tiêu nghiệp. Mô Phật. Rồi cái thời bây giờ đó, thì người ta xăm hình đó, thì nó là đẹp vĩ đại đồ này kia. Thì ngày xưa đó xăm hình đó là cái người đó là mang những cái tiếng rất là xấu. Mô Phật. 2 câu.
Master, when talking about burning the body, I remember Venerable Heng Liang, she used to burn her hand a lot. And then I asked her, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And then she said that I did this in order to make offering to the Buddha. And I replied to her, oh, I thought that you burn your body in order to eradicate your offenses. But her purpose was to make offering to the Buddha. And then talking about tattoo, nowadays, when you tattoo and then people consider that it's beauty, it's handsome, but actually in the old day, it has negative impact. People will think bad about you.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. So this man here was lying there at night, couldn't sleep, in such great pain. And he says, all of a sudden, in my worst, at the peak of my pain, I suddenly smell this beautiful fragrance in my room. Okay, and so apparently the heavenly beings came and offered some incense to him as an offering, burned some incense as offering to him. You see, so these some Buddhists are pretty dedicated, gung-ho, and they burn the bodies, they burn the fingers, and so forth. And it's remarkable. I mean, that the Asians have a history of doing that. I just don't like it personally, okay, because primarily, for two reasons. Number one, I cannot just justify inflicting that pain upon myself, okay, without a good reason. And number two is that it creates, this is more important, this creates a bad image to the Westerners, that we fanatics, we burn ourselves, and that's would be a turn-off for Westerners who don't understand our religion. And they look at my head and say, oh my God, he burned himself too. He's one of those people. Okay, and that's what why one of the major reasons why I refuse to do that. I would not ask my disciples to do that. I would even discourage them to do that because it's a turn-off for Westerners. Okay, it's savagery to us. It's self-immolation. Yeah, the concept of self-immolation to me is big turn-off for Westerners. Okay, and along the line of why we want to burn yourself. I come to that. But on the other hand, look at this guy. He had his name here, and guess where? He's going to bring it to the bathroom with him. He sits on the toilet. And there is Ersto Bodhisattva or his vows or the Heart Sutra sitting on top of the toilet with him. I have a problem with that. Okay? Or if you tattoo the head of the Buddha or some kind of thing on your body and you go to the toilet, especially you go in China where they have no running water, the toilet like a hole on the ground, that doesn't get clean for weeks, and you bring the images of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas' names to those places. I have a hard time accepting that. Okay, or let's say you didn't bathe for a week, so all the impurities your body are collecting on top of these images. I think you're creating more offenses that way than creating blessings. Okay? So I'm against tattoos, I'm against those things. In particular, some Chinese monk, even like my master, he tattooed this one character, the Chinese character, on his chest. You can see it in one of those photos. It actually, it's swollen, so you see that being burned, swollen, so you see the one character. Okay, and to me, I don't like it Personally, I just don't like that kind of imagery. Okay, too Asian for me. Yes, 9.
There's several comments.
Oh no, we touched a nerve.
A lot. So Brady, as Venerable Master Thích Quang Đức, remained perfectly still while burning, greatest display of samadhi power ever?
Is a question?
That's a question. There's a question mark.
Absolutely. Again, I'm going to offend someone, and please, if I don't want to hear it, plug your ears. Okay, this is my Dharma talk, so I'll talk anything I want. There's no excuse. Please don't leave me. Venerable Thích Quang Đức, that burning monk, is a hero of the Vietnamese Buddhists. He did something pretty daring. He sacrificed his body, his life, in protest of my uncle's oppressive regime. Yeah, that President Ngô Đình Diệm is my uncle, was my uncle, paternal uncle. We're related. In other words, I'm royal blood, just in case you haven't noticed. Excuse me, I get emotional talking about family and royalty. Hey, how's your tooth? It's okay? Not getting worse? How's the infection? It should be getting better. If it doesn't get better tomorrow, how do you know it gets better? Are you going to go back and see the dentist or not? See, when I get to real emotional topics, I distract you so that we don't get too mushy. See, it doesn't hurt, right?
Well, it's sensitive.
Of course, it's supposed to be sensitive. It's
Well,
infected.
in comparison, here I can feel.
Do you use the ointment that the old monk gave you?
I'm using it. First time I used it last night, I felt a little something like it was working. Mm-hmm. And then I did it before I went to sleep, so maybe there was some residue of it still in my mouth. Mm. And then this morning, I tried it again, and I didn't really feel anything.
Okay.
Didn't feel it working very much. Mm-hmm. So I would say it's working, but I have to continue using it. I actually was going to try and put it on while I was driving, but I couldn't find it easily, so I have to wait till after I'm done here to put my
Don't
notes.
text either while driving.
I know, I shouldn't do that. I have a couple of comments.
By tomorrow is Thursday. By Friday, if it doesn't abate at all, you let me know.
Yes, Master.
Okay? I'm letting you fix it. I feel you can fix it.
I've got to work on it.
There's no reason why you can't fix it.
Yes, Master.
This is why I'm very upset that the dentist who pull infected tooth out of people's mouth. It annoys me.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I feel you should be able to fix it. So I give you 2 more days.
Yes, Master.
Yes.
Along with that, my caring husband and you knew that I was going to see another dentist in Montebello, a different dentist than our own, yesterday for a second opinion. So then I came to Temple. So in the morning, this morning, he said, "So what happened?" So I told him about what the dentist said, and
You're in great health, good teeth and everything.
yeah, really good health,
that's
and that if I choose that I want to try and use meditation and spirituality to help my tooth, that it was up to me that I could do that. So as I got to that part and I told my husband, well, this is what I want to do. I want to help myself. And we talked a little bit about it, about how meditation isn't to just feel good. It is to really help yourself. I have to say, I was surprised he was supportive. I guess I've indoctrinated him a little bit after all this time. But he said, I'm glad, if you want to do this, I support you in this. So I was relieved.
Just don't die on me, that's all.
Just don't die on me.
Okay,
So I wanted
good.
to share that.
Yeah, that's
that
nice.
was a positive. I want to get rid of this little sensitivity. I want to do that. I think I'll let you know, Master, how it goes. I'd like to make a comment about the Buddha and tattooing. A couple of years ago, I was helping family friends get into Disneyland, and I was meeting somebody's son-in-law for the first time from Utah, and Caucasian family, and very nice people. And all of a sudden, I saw his arm, and it was like this inside part of his arm, right here, right there, had a large tattoo of a sitting Buddha. And I kind of glanced at it, and I thought, wow, that's unusual. I mean, because they're not Buddhist. I mean, especially because I'm Buddhist, I was a little like, oh, okay. But obviously, he was a nice guy, pleasant. So I said, hey, okay, you got the Buddha on your arm. I said, I'm Buddhist. That's, that's kind of cool. I mean, it was a beautiful tattoo. And I said, so if you don't mind my asking, why do you have them on your arm? In, to me, a very sensitive area, by the way. And he said, well, I really like what the Buddha stands for. And I feel really good about having him there. And it brings me peace and tranquility. And I just feel really good about it. And I said, okay, well, that's wonderful. So I just thought I'd share that as a point of view of someone who's not Buddhist.
Thank you. Okay, I noticed Nine had wanted to have some comments. Oh, there's more comments.
Yes, Master.
Okay.
Jason K. said, in the Surangama Sutra, it is said, if they burned themselves with incense, next lifetime they don't have to come back to pay off their debts. Jason also say it will be all eradicated. That's why they do this.
Okay, very good. Okay, what else?
平等清净 say 地狱不空，誓不成佛.
Okay, that's a vow of Earthstar Bodhisattva that guy tattooed, burned on his back. Thank you. What else?
Chris L. say, will Master lecture on the Surangama Sutra? Is fascinating.
Maybe, maybe not. When I lecture on it, will have to add something on top of it. I feel that Master YongHua's explanation is just a masterpiece. Don't have much more to add. So I hate to go through years explaining and with nothing else to add. Okay, I will lecture on that if I have something else to offer, or time. Time is a big problem because I would like to do the Avatamsaka Sutra. I feel it's something that I need to lecture on. Surangama Sutra, it's nice, it's wonderful, but it doesn't really do much for my program, for my projects, because my project is about training people. Okay, so the fact we do so many qis, we explain, we speak Dharma, we explain Sutra so much. A lot of it is based on Chan anyway. Okay, so that is more useful to you than for me to go through. For example, Surangama Sutra has certain section which is very, very involved, and I'm not sure I can understand those sections. And if I did, if I explain it to you, it would mean nothing to you anyway. So it's a lot of time I'd be spending on. That's not. I can't think of that many people who can really use it. So why would I waste 200 people's time on listening to my lecture, and really it's way beyond you. So that's why what bothers me, and that's why I hesitate to lecture in that sutra. Again, because I give you plenty of Chan instructions to help your practice, which is more directly beneficial to you than learning about these abstract principles in that sutra. Okay, it's something that eventually, once you get to the level I'd like you to get, then you can study it yourself. Okay, it's something, it should be self-study. For example, in the future, when I'm going to allow people to go into retreat, don't think we're afraid of retreats. We're preparing for that. Okay, I will allow people to go to retreat, and we have properties. Okay, I put them to those properties, support them, so that only thing they do is no different than they were in the mountains or in the valleys. Meditate and study. That's it. And until their skills are good enough, then they can exit. Okay, we'll do that as well. That's part of my, I hope we'll be able to do that. But right now, there's so much work to do and not enough manpower. Okay, doing a chi like this is so time-consuming for us. We really don't have time for anything else. Okay, it's overwhelming for us already. And not only are we doing it here, we're doing it at all our way places. That's the time commitment we have for all of you. So we don't have enough manpower yet, but eventually we do that, I hope. Anything else?
Some of the comment is provoked, so should I?
What? They're impolite?
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to hurt my feelings. They don't bring them up. I'm very fragile. Okay. So I have a hard time with all these concepts, because if the sutra says, when the sutra says you burn your body as an offering to the Buddha and this will erase your offenses, it's true, because the Buddha says so. And therefore, you don't have to come back and undergo the retribution for your offenses. It's true, because it's from the sutra. You better believe it, and I believe it, without any doubt. Okay? I have no doubt about that. Okay? But let me bring this to your attention. That refers to the past karmas you created that's accruing in your eighth consciousness. Okay? So when you burn your body and you make offerings to the Buddha and so forth, these get erased. But then after they erase, do you die, or what happens to you? You continue to create offenses. So it doesn't stop there. So when you look at the big picture, it's not just about simply erasing karmic retributions, but it's about getting enlightened. Okay? So I submit to you that if you focus only on eradicating retributions, and then you're doing it wrong, because that's not the main drive for cultivation. Main drive for cultivation is to avoid create offenses, not to repent. Repent is a aiding dharma. It's not the major dharma. The major dharma, the main attempt, like we do the Chan Chi here, is to help you open your wisdom so that you avoid creating offenses. Okay? So if people only look at this and they get greedy and say, oh, I can eradicate all my offenses, my retributions, yes, your past ones, but you're still creating new ones like every single nanosecond. You realize that? Every single nanosecond, you're creating offenses and that you don't even know. So you eradicate the past ones, and you burn one finger, you eradicate some, and you create some more, and then you burn one more finger. Pretty soon you have no fingers left to do before 2 hands and eyes. That's my problem with this knowledge. It's misleading. That's why I immediately erase it from my memory, because it's not useful. It will not. It's not that helpful for you to become enlightened, to see a Buddha nature at all. All right? Yeah. All right. So I'm against all these self-immolation. Okay. Now let me go back to the first point. Venerable Thích Quảng Đức is a burning monk, a very famous one, and he really captured the world's attention about his act of burning himself. And it's true, they recorded it on very grainy videos where he sat there immobile for the whole time. When he crossed his legs in full lotus, by the way, not half lotus, okay, full lotus. When your life is in danger, you get in full lotus. You don't get in half lotus. Let me remind you, okay. So he sat in full lotus. He sat there. He's burning, and you realize how much pain it is. And the heat is very painful. And your whole body is burning, not just your back or a part of your head. Okay, that's incredible. Okay, until the end, where he shuddered a little bit. He shuddered, and then he died, and he fell down. Okay. Anyone remember that part of the video? You want to, you can get the video and play on the screen here. You see at the end, he shuddered. Okay. So let me explain to you. This is just my stupid interpretation, So don't take it with a grain of salt. Okay, he's a third stage arhat. Again, this is my interpretation. You don't have to agree with it. So meaning that because when he's third stage arhat, when it's burning like that, he enters samadhi, and therefore he felt no pain whatsoever. He can sit there, which is very impressive. The samadhi power is very good. That's enabled him to stay there and to feel no pain whatsoever. No, he's not a bodhisattva. He's not a fourth-stage arhat. He's a third-stage arhat, and he can do that. Okay, that's why. So he sat there, and he entered samadhi. Okay, you see it. He didn't move at all, and then that's why. That's why you don't have to move. When you enter samadhi, you don't feel the need to go to the restroom. You need to go to the restroom because you're not in samadhi. Okay, so that's why he didn't feel the urge to do anything or the pain even. Okay, so that's the level of third stage arhat, and he did that. And towards the end, he shuddered because he felt the pain. So he lost his samadhi, that's why, and then he died. Okay? Which is not a good thing. If he stayed unmoving the whole time, would be great. But he shuddered a little bit. That is very bad. Okay, I will stop there. Okay, I will not go any further. Yes, 9.
Brady said it was on national news and totally freaked out us Americans so bad that we couldn't even talk about it.
Yeah, and nowadays also you hear of the Tibetan monks and nuns also immolating themselves, burning themselves. except that they're not at that level. They're hurting like hell, and they fall to the hells because of that. I shouldn't be laughing. But it's not something you want to do casually. Okay, he's able to do that because he has some kung fu. If you burn yourself and you're in pain like that, it looks pretty bad. It looks like we are crazy people. And besides, okay, finally, besides, I'm against burning yourself, hurting yourself. Not just tattoos, but hurting yourself in those types of forms. To me, it's kind of barbaric. Okay. Yes, 9.
Pingdong Chinching asks, Master, did the 2 burn sanghas in CTDB attain fruition?
Which ones? Did somebody burn themselves? With what? Fingers, the whole body, or what?
She hasn't replied yet.
Okay. Master Xu Yun, I was impressed when Master YongHua related how Master Xu Yun went to Manchukuo Mountain, I think one of those mountains in China, and he walked like 3,000 miles, okay? And he got up there to Manchukuo to offer his finger, burn his finger, so wrap his finger in fabric and oil and burn it like this. He didn't cut it off first. It's actually, it's pretty impressive. Okay, so, but that's not a big deal because he has such a high level of samadhi, so it's not that big of a deal to him. Okay, for people at his level, at the minimum, you want to do these things, you should be at least 3rd stage arhat. Otherwise, you make us look pretty bad. A monk is burning and hurting and screaming, and it's too savage to me. It's just wrong imagery. Okay. So anyway, I'm against burning. This body here is very hard to come by, and you don't want to harm it in any way. You should use it to become enlightened, to open your wisdom, instead of damaging it, inflicting harm upon that. To me, I just don't like it. But again, that's just my one monk's opinion. And besides, I'm a coward. I hate pain. Yes, 9.
Pingdong Chinching replied, the nun mentioned by Queen and the monk with the vow of Erstol Bodhisattva.
The nun is not doing well. The monk, I don't know. Okay, I don't know his name, so I don't care. Okay. I have a hard time, cleaning my back, so it's tough enough. Yes, 6.
Thank you, Master. Why, when I'm meditating right now, like my stomach is just like pulling in super hard, like incredibly, like it feels, I don't know.
I'm sorry?
My stomach is like pushing back against my spine, like it's like not by voluntarily, like it's just like.
Right now, or when you meditate?
Right now.
I don't know. Go see a doctor.
Nah, it's meditation related.
Huh?
It's meditation related.
How do you know? Go see a doctor. I mean, I'm not going to dispense medical advices online. Go see a doctor when something is physically wrong. That's what doctors are for. We're not doctors. Okay? Go see a doctor and see what happens. Okay? Practice safe meditation. Safe chant. Yes, 4.
Thank you, Master. I was not aware that your uncle was the reason that the burning monk
and royal blood
lit himself on fire.
Huh?
I didn't realize your uncle was the reason that the burning monk.
Yeah, they what happened is actually is a long story. To to briefly tell you. At the time, Vietnam was a Buddhist country, 80% Buddhists, and the Catholics wanted to convert the country. So, and because of the political opportunity, there is a father, Vietnamese father there, who is the brother of my uncle. He's also my uncle. He's a father. He's like a bishop or something, very high. He's the highest ranking person. So Rome appointed him and said, we want a Catholic president. And so she immediately thought of him. Ngô Đình Diệm is Catholic. He is not married. He led a very pure life, and he doesn't fool around. Doesn't drink. He's very devout Catholic. So they said he's a pretty good guy. So he's a good symbolic figure for the country. So they chose him. Okay, they chose him to be president. But he's a good guy. He doesn't know anything. He has no interest in being president. So his brother is the younger brother, who's Ngô Đình Nhu, whose wife is more famous than he is. Okay, Madame Ngô Đình Nhu. Okay, also my aunt. They are the brainchild behind running the government. So it's the brother who ran the government, and the wife who ran around and advocated women's rights and women's army and all those things. So they made a lot of noise. They became very famous. And they didn't trust the Americans. Okay, and so look at that. Oh wow! Couldn't even see anything. That's a lot of. Anyway, so the family is Catholic. The whole family is Catholic. So they basically officially banished Buddhism and proclaimed Catholicism as a national religion. And of course, the Vietnamese or Buddhists didn't like it. The majority of the country didn't like it, so they oppressed the Buddhists. They would not allow them to do temples and stuff like that. I don't have all the details, but they oppressed the Buddhists, and that's why the monks got very upset, and they didn't know what to do. So I heard they got together, and Thích Quang Đức was one of them who was very upset at the fact that Buddhism was being oppressed. So they call him and say, would you like to do something to express our anger, our discontent? So he says, yeah, I'm willing to do that. So that's why they let him do it. Okay, and because of that shock, the whole Buddhist communities in Vietnam was up in arms and rebelled against it. And with the majority of the country, it's such upset, being that upset, the CIA then used the opportunity to assassinate them. So it's my kind of luck. I could be prime minister right now instead of just a beggar. At least my children. Yes.
A Di Đà Phật, lúc mà cái chuyện này xảy ra là con 18 tuổi. Con học lớp 11, thành ra con biết rất rành. Là cũng như thầy vừa nói là cấm như vậy đó. Thì cũng bình thường thôi, rồi người ta cũng biểu tình như bên đây vậy thôi. Thì ngoài Quế đó, người ta mới biểu tình tại Đài Phát Thanh Quế. Là cái ngày mà Phật đản đó, là phải treo cờ các nơi rồi, nhưng mà chính phủ cấm. Không được treo cờ, bởi lúc đó mình rơm qua thăm. Mình muốn show up là bên đây là đạo Phật, đạo Thiên Chúa, không có thấy đạo Phật. Thì bên Phật giáo người ta biểu tình, người ta nói cái ngày Phật đản mà không cấm người ta treo cờ là sao?
Yeah, that's oppressive.
Rồi xong rồi á, con nói chuyện này là tại vì con là đệ tử dòng thứ 3 của người Quảng Đức này nè, như thầy với Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa vậy. Sau khi con ở tù về, con nghe cái chùa của đệ tử ổng giảng kinh Pháp Hoa, con quy y mà con cũng không biết là đệ tử của người Quảng Đức nữa. Thì người ta biểu tình, thì con nít nó biểu tình với người lớn biểu tình, thì cái người thứ hai mà mạnh nhất là ông Ngô Đình Cẩn đó, ở ngoài Quế là một cái trùm ở ngoài Quế luôn, đó là dựa hơi của ông Ngô Đình Diệm. Cho nên tất cả người chính trị là nắm hết. Mới đem xe tăng cán cái đám biểu tình bằng cán sống á, chứ không phải là bắt nữa. Xông vô xe thiết giáp, leo lên cái bậc thềm của Đại Phát Thanh Quế và cán sống người ta. Thì cái giọt nước cuối cùng là bên giáo hội họp. Thì không biết làm sao, thì Ngài Quảng Đức nói tôi sẽ hy sinh cái thân tôi để tôi cứu Phật giáo. Thì Hòa Thượng Dự Bổn là một trong những người bị ngoài Quế là mấy nhà thờ bắt. Nói chung là các nhà thờ bắt hết mấy tăng ngoài đó nhốt trong nhà thờ. Sau khi mà ông Diệm chết rồi thì mấy thầy mới thoát ra được. Có rất là nhiều người là các nhà thờ bắt mấy thầy ngoài Quế, ngoài Trung rồi nhốt hết. Thì khi mà một vị tăng sau này người ta mới kể là ông tự thiêu như vậy có cái gì được hay không mà ông tình nguyện? Có cái gì bằng chứng không? Thì Hòa Thượng Quảng Đức mới quay qua, tôi để là một quả tim được hay không? Đủ không? Thì sau khi đốt rồi đó, sau khi mà chùa mới làm lễ đó, tự thiêu cái thân đó, thì trái tim không cháy. Còn nguyên sống như vậy đó thì các nước với lại báo chí là người ta tới người ta coi. Ta yêu cầu đốt lại thì họ mới tin. Đốt lại cũng không cháy, còn nguyên. Thì sau này giáo hội sợ bị ông Diệm cướp nữa, cho nên mấy lúc đó chưa có đảo chánh xong. Thì mới là gửi trong cái ngân hàng ngoại quốc giữ cái quả tim đó. Thì năm 75 chính phủ mới vô, họ tịch thu hết thì họ lấy cái quả tim nó về. Thì năm 81 đó, mới giao lại cho thầy con là trưởng tử của Hòa Thượng Quảng Đức. Thầy con không nhận. Tôi nhận, tôi không có khả năng bảo vệ, mấy ông làm gì làm tôi không biết. Sau này tôi sẽ có nhiệm, tôi làm mất thì tôi trách nhiệm với lịch sử, tôi không cất. Mấy ông cất đi. Thì con chỉ nghe nói chứ con cũng chưa thấy quả tim là không cháy hay không, phần chứng thật sự là con không thấy. Nhưng mà có chuyện đó như vậy đó. Xin hết.
Master, relate to the story of the burning monk. Back then, I was 18 years old. I was in high school, so I witnessed this. I know this very clear. So back then, the government was put a lot of suppression on Buddhism, and then it's just a normal thing, and then a lot of people boycott. And then in Hue, it was during Vesak, and then usually people will put up the Buddhist flag, but because there was an event that Rome came to Vietnam and visit, so the government forbid people to put up the Buddhist flag. And then because of that, a lot of people gathered together and boycott in front of the news station. And then back then, the brother of the president, he was the authority over there, and then he used the tank, the military vehicle, to run over people and kill people who boycotted. And then it creates the upset in the community, and then people in the association, Buddhist association, they gather together and have a meeting, and then Venerable Quảng Đức was part of the meeting, and then he volunteered to sacrifice his body to stop the oppression. And then back then, Venerable Diệu Bổn, my Vietnamese master, was captured, and a lot of monks was captured during that event, and then they was released only after the president was assassinated. And then after Venerable Quảng-Đức offered to sacrifice his body, and then people was asked, so after you die, what evidence you want to leave behind? And he said, okay, I will leave behind my heart. Is that enough? And then, so his body was burned like that, and then the first time it was burned, the heart was still untouched. And then people came and visit, and then they request to burn its remaining the second time, and then the heart was still unchanged. So that was like one of the solid evidence. And then this is like just something I heard about that. Like at first they have the heart kept in a bank overseas, and then after the communists took over the country, they have a possession of it, and then after that, some people gave the heart to my Vietnamese master, but then he refused to accept it because he said that he didn't have enough power to protect the heart, so that's why he refused to be the guardian of the heart. So those are the things that I heard.
Okay, 9.
Master Sanho, there were three questions. San Jose Daniel asked, Master, what do you think about Tibet's movement for liberation? I apologize if the question makes you feel uncomfortable. I just would love to hear your evaluation of the situation.
I don't know much about that movement, okay, and I don't have enough information to make a comment about that. So my general comment is that monks and nuns should not immolate themselves. That's all. For whatever the reasons, I'm against it. Yeah, it's a worldly thing to harm yourself. We are here to pursue spiritual things, transcendental things. We should refrain from politics and that kind of thing. It doesn't concern us. We should not be engaged in politics. I'm against it. Okay, we're lucky that in this country in particular, you need to be sensitive about it. In this country, and we're lucky, very lucky, because there is a clear respect from the government towards religion, religious institutions, and we should, and vice versa, we should also then respect our boundaries, stay within our boundaries, respect and stay out of politics. Okay.
Altadi asks, Master, how did you and your parents end up being Buddhist monks if your uncle was on the side of the Catholics? Your uncle was on the side of Catholic, right?
Well, my dad was also a Buddhist because my grandma was a Buddhist, and but in order, because my uncle wanted him to serve, so he converted to he became Catholic against my grandmother's wishes, and so that's he. I think it seems like all those people held power had to convert to Catholicism. Okay, so, but later we came, and when there's no more power to vie for, it's easy for my father to convert back to Buddhism. It's a act of convenience, I guess, self-interest. Okay, well, eventually, he preferred to be a Buddhist monk over anything else. After his entire life, he found this probably the most meaningful thing he could do. Anything else? That's it. Yes? Oof. No serious damage yet. Yes, too.
Master, I have some news for you.
Yes.
Golden Yim is my mom's adopted father.
Oh no. I see.
Well,
Small world, huh? Oh God, now I have to help you.
what happened is that during the revolution, Ngô Đình Diệm was arrested and placed in jail. So my grandfather actually secretly released him, and then after that he was killed. He was executed. So when Ngô Đình Diệm became president, he came back and looked for my grandmother and helped the family out, and he adopted all my grandmother's.
Wow, so we sort of related. Okay, check her story out. You know, yes, 7.
A Di Đà Phật. Là đúng lý ra mình tu thì không có nói những chuyện này. Như thầy nói là mình ưu tiên làm sao để mình minh tâm kiến tánh thôi. Mà đã moi ra thì phải nói cho hết. Thì đúng ra đó, sau Thế chiến thứ hai là chỉ có quân đội Liên Xô tham gia. Mà bên Trung Quốc là đã giải phóng năm 49 rồi, 1949 rồi, Cộng sản rồi. Thành ra lúc đó Mỹ không phải tự quyền làm nữa. Mà thế giới chia đôi, Đông Đức, Tây Đức, Đông Âu, Trung Quốc, Đài Loan, Việt Nam thì Vĩ Tuyến 17 Bắc với Nam thì tới đó thôi. Tây đe. Nhưng mà cuối cùng thì bên kia lấn xuống. Thì người Mỹ mới ra một chiến thuật toàn cầu là do Tổng thống Eisenhower của Mỹ là bây giờ phải làm sao đắp bờ chặn lại không cho lấn xuống nữa. Tới Vĩ Tuyến 17 thì thôi. Không là sẽ mất hết Thái Lan, Indonesia rồi nữa. Thì như vậy thôi. Thì Ngài Ngô Đình Diệm là một người rất là tốt. Bây giờ lịch sử vẫn chứng minh. Mặc dù Công giáo mà tu rất đàng hoàng ở bên Mỹ này nè. Một người tu như ông cha như vậy, một ông linh mục như vậy. Cái người Phật giáo cũng rất là kính trọng ông Ngô Đình Diệm. Thì lúc đó Mỹ mới đưa con cờ Ngô Đình Diệm về để mà nắm chính quyền mới. Thân Mỹ thì cái đó cũng ok thôi. Thì ổng làm miền Nam rất là tự do, rất là hạnh phúc, kinh tế rất là lên. Kể cả mà Singapore bây giờ cũng rất là thèm muốn. Lúc bây giờ Việt Nam là số 1 Đông Nam Á dưới tay của ông Ngô Đình Diệm. Kinh tế, dân chủ với chính trị đều lên hết. Thì mọi người bây giờ vẫn nhớ ơn. Còn những đại ai giết ông Ngô Đình Diệm thì không phải như vậy đâu. Bây giờ nhân chứng nó có qua đây. Và lịch sử Mỹ sau 30 năm nó đã mở hết rồi. Là người giết ông Diệm là ông người Mỹ chứ không phải là người nào. Là như thế nào? Sau khi đảo chánh xong rồi thì để cho những sĩ quan Việt Nam giết. Ông Diệm kêu từ nhà thờ Chợ Lớn, ông Diệm kêu giờ tôi đầu hàng. Tôi muốn gặp mấy ông tướng lãnh đạo. Thì cho xe thiết giáp Chợ Lớn chở ông về. Ở dọc đường là giết. Mình nói phải cho hết. Nếu không mình nói vậy là mình thành người nói láo.
It doesn't matter if they say you're liars or not. It doesn't
Bây giờ
matter.
bỏ ông Diệm này giết cũng giống như Afghanistan bây giờ ông
I
lên bỏ.
am not interested. Stop. No need to go into it.
Mình nói ra phải nói hết không là mình là người nói láo. Lịch sử nó có con nhân chứng có tất cả. Giống như bây giờ người Mỹ bỏ Afghanistan chạy vậy đó.
You have to drop it. Okay, it's a personal thing because these people are very emotional about this. There's no need for that. I happen to like the Chinese style, where you look at the Mahayana patriarchs, the great teachers, 6 patriarchs among the great teachers. There's some Mahayana patriarchs who became teachers of the emperor, national teachers and so forth. That's the history of Chinese Mahayana. But I happen not to like those people. I happen to like those patriarchs, like the sixth patriarch, who, despite repeated requests from the emperor to bestow favors upon him, he turned them down. So that, to me, that's what I try to observe. That is, there's a clear separation between the church and the state. And that's important, because that's how we preserve our integrity. I don't care for politics, personally. I have no interest in politics, okay? And therefore, if you wish to talk about politics, you're free to do that, but not during my lecture. What we do is to help open your wisdom, okay? Wading into politics is not going to help that cause. So that's why I have no interest whatsoever. I'm very specific. I do these things because for one purpose is help you open your wisdom. So why would I want to waste my time, your time, wading into areas that are absolutely of no value to our endeavors? Okay? You wish to do whatever you do in your personal time, I have no problems. And remember your place. When I order so, it's an order. It's not a suggestion. Okay, is there any questions? Yes, 4.
Thank you, Master. I'm not quite sure how to express this. There's two comments I wanted to make. The first one is just what a profound gratefulness I have for the Vietnamese people and their contributions to Buddhism, both in the past, which I'm not aware of, except for the burning monk, and also today. All the Vietnamese people at this temple have been so helpful and supportive to me in ways I can't even understand as I've learned to cultivate and find the way. My second comment is the burning monk was my first exposure to Buddhism, period. Growing up in America, as a young boy, Rage Against the Machine was one of my favorite bands. And they're from here in Southern California originally, Pasadena area actually. And on the cover to their album, they have a picture of the burning monk. And that was the first I ever knew of Buddhism or had exposure to it. And the second time, and the first time I visited Lu Mountain Temple during a Sharira exhibition, that was the second time I really saw a picture of the burning monk in your temple. And it was just such an incredibly profound experience, going from seeing a picture of the burning monk on a CD and a tape cassette 30 years ago to being in the presence of that monk with the Sharira at your exhibit. I just wanted to express my gratitude for that.
Thank you for the comment. Of course, he did in everything that happens in life. There's always two sides. It's called the middle way. You look at the positive side as well as negative side. Okay, so yes, his contribution that he did. Okay, a lot of good things. So yes, it's not just him, but also a lot of people as well. Not just the Vietnamese, but Buddhism in general has been very beneficial to the whole world. Think about it. Dynasties and kingdoms and emperors, they change. Buddhism hasn't changed. Okay, the one teaching, the one pursuit, spiritual pursuit that the Buddha taught us has been preserved in Mahayana. It hasn't changed. Okay, we still have patriarchs, we still have people who care to save all living beings, not just Vietnamese, not just Chinese, not just Korean. We save everyone, including white people. So, it's totally non-discrimination. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people, how people feel. Of course, this is a very emotional thing, especially for the Vietnamese. Very emotional. You touch it. This is it's my early days. I wouldn't dare touch it because people get upset. One camp wants to hear certain ways. The other camp wants to hear the different ways. So, who are you going to please? Okay. But it's not about all the camps or the rationale, whatever they feel justified about. This is irrelevant to what I'm trying to do. It's a waste of my time and your time. That's all. And who gives a damn if you think I'm a liar or I'm this or I'm that? It's you who will become enlightened. Whatever I do is none of your business. It's irrelevant. Okay? All right? It's about to benefit you, not about me. It doesn't matter what I do. Okay? All this is for you, to help you. That's all. Anything else? All right. I want to bring your attention to the things that worked, not the worldly things you talk about. Tibetan Buddhism, Vietnamese Buddhism, burning monk or not. When I feel it's not helpful, I will not spend time wasting our time on that. It doesn't do much for us. Okay, it only agitates people. And it's a good thing, especially for his level, to be still agitated by something like this, some worldly thing like this, is a very deep emotional attachment. Cut it out. Your energy should not be spent on worldly things. You should know better than waste your time and my time. You violated your own rules. Always do what Master says, and you dare contradict me? Yes, let's continue. You got this far because of that, and here where you are, you dare contradict your own. You're stopping your own progress. You're killing yourself. That's all you're doing, old monk. Continue.
The 天可以塌下来，地可以陷下去。咱们不做禅是不可以的。
It doesn't matter if the sky fall down or the earth sink down, but we cannot stop meditating.
我觉得，在这14个礼拜，一定应该有人开悟。这是我预先告诉你。
I feel that within these 14 weeks, somebody will for sure become enlightened. This is my prediction for you.
要没有人开悟，不可以，一定要开悟，无论是哪一个。
If nobody becomes enlightened, it is not allowed. You must become enlightened, no matter who.
Okay, he talked that apparently he feels that somebody would become enlightened after 14 weeks. Pretty impressive. That's very fast, especially for the people who lack the foundations. In America here, they don't have the tradition of Buddhism and Mahayana in particular, and yet they would come and practice vigorously for 14 weeks like this under Master Hsuan program. It's pretty impressive, 14 weeks. And then when I hear this, I wonder what kind of level of enlightenment it is. And my gut feeling is that it's not fourth-stage Arhat. It's lower. Because when you go to the Hinayana teachings, they call enlightenment is first-stage Arhat. It's called enlightenment in Hinayana. Okay? It's reasonable to call enlightenment, yes, because they have the kind of wisdom that the worldly people do not have. It's a very special kind of wisdom people cannot fathom. So it's reasonable to consider that level of enlightenment as far as Hinayana is concerned. I accept that. But Mahayana, we have higher standards. For us, enlightenment is a little bit more exacting than that, because that level of first stage Arhat doesn't have real wisdom yet. Yes, 9.
Ping Teng Jingjing asks, Master, will a Catholic or non-Buddhist have a chance to be enlightened if he comes to your temple to listen to your Dharma talks or to fast?
I wonder who she's referring to. I'm not sure, because each person is different. So, you see, I do not like abstract questions. I want a name, I want a face. So you want me to answer specifically, then for such a person, okay? Then I can try. But I'm not into hypothetical questions, okay? The training is very specific. Each of you will have your own condition, your own requirements. So you need to attach a name or a face to it, okay? But so he feels that after all that training, all that hard work he put in the early 70s, 1970, 71, and someone is able to become enlightened, okay? And given the level of instruction he gave them so far, it certainly cannot be fourth-stage Arhat. It's not enough. Yes, 9.
Ping Teng Jingjing said, Daniel.
Son of a gun. For Daniel to do that, it's not going to happen. Why not? Because you need enlightenment, needs a foundation. It's a big, big deal. It's not a casual thing at all. Look at these people. When he taught, Master Hsuan taught them the Chan Chi Dharma. They practiced for a while, and then in 1970 they decided to do 14 weeks, which is 100 days. Okay, it's special Dharma for that. And look, they took 14 weeks of hard work in order to get there. Okay, it's sort of slow. Okay, but it is also the point here. It's hard work. They work very hard for every day for 14 weeks. That's what it took, okay, for these people. And so we should be grateful that because of these people, they are the early waves where they were the proofs that such dharmas can produce results, not just talk. It was just like, I believe in Master Shenhua. No, I believe in Buddha. No, they actually got some real benefits from their own practice. Okay, their lives were changed, became better people. In some cases, they opened their eyes, they can see things. They can see Buddhas, they can see gods, they can see whatever. Okay, so those people were the pioneers, the trailblazers. We should be grateful to them. Okay, and those are the ones who are able to make the teaching available to me later. Okay, so I'm grateful to them. Okay, but it doesn't detract from the fact that the teaching is not advanced enough so that this enlightenment level is only at the beginner's level. That's my interpretation. Okay, anyone else? So Master Shenhua saw it already, and he sees this, and he says, "This is why. This is why I'm doing this, and this is a tradition that I like to continue. I hope it continues in the future, into the future. When we do these teas, is in order to help people become enlightened, and actually people do become enlightened. People do actually improve and get better, because this is what the teas are for. The teas are for teaching you. The Chinese says, is the teas are the place, the time where we select Buddhas. Okay, the Chinese select here. Let me explain the select concept here for your information. The Chinese explain a lot of things. They say a lot of things, but unless you understand what's going on, it's not the way you think. Okay, let's talk about. And tonight, this is all we're gonna time we're gonna do. Okay, I don't want to go back to the tape at all. So feel free to ask me a question for several more minutes. Okay, there's a concept in a Chanqi where the Chanqi is where the place where we select Buddhas. Okay, Buddhas refers to enlightened people. So far, so good. Okay, because when you're enlightened, you have the same wisdom as the Buddhas. So that's why at that point in time, whatever the Buddha says, he says, yeah, I agree, it makes sense. It's not like I believe anymore. We say, yeah, I think it's real, I think it's true. Okay, they know it. So this is what differentiates Buddhism with all the other religions, is that when you get to those levels, you verify, you certify yourself. You don't just say, I believe anymore, like Daniel. He said, I believe in, his creator. Because it's just a thought. Belief is just a thought. Actually, these people know and have the same wisdom as the Buddha. It's a very powerful statement. It's no longer they think, but they know, they certify it's the case. So that's why we say this is where we select the Buddhas. We select the enlightened people. Okay? Buddhas, again, are enlightened people. They're enlightened people because that's when we reveal to these people what the Buddha's wisdom is about. And say, so all the hard work I've been putting in, all the teachings I've been studying, okay? I can verify them. Not only can I verify them, I can also verify that the next person is also enlightened. This is a very powerful Buddhist referral system. Losers out there You know, like my masters lose a disciple. They say, oh, they make comments about this, comments about that. Okay, this person is good teacher. This other person is a bad teacher, and so forth. It's nonsense. What all that matters in Buddhism is you certify: is he enlightened? Is she enlightened? If that's the case, when you learn from these people, you're learning the proper Dharma. That's all that matters to us. Okay? That's the bottom line. No talk. It's a fact. You know. You have the wisdom. You, no one else. Now, what about selecting the Buddha? Okay? Selecting here. Who selects? Who selects? See, be careful. The Chinese say this is where the Buddhas are selected. So who selects? You see, I heard that phrase when I first started doing the Qi. I said, wow, that's interesting. This is where I want to go. Okay, go do Qi. But look around and say, who's selecting? Who's selecting Buddhas? Who are Buddhas and who's making the selections? I'm yellow, I'm very white in thinking. I can't use words to confuse me, okay? I need clarification. Who's selecting? Yes, 9. You have an answer?
Oh,
or just a question? Okay? Am I kind of like...
Master Bington Chinching asks, the Qi is the place to select Buddhas. Master, is this true for all Buddhist meditation retreats or only all Chinese retreat?
Okay, so you have to ask yourself, who's selecting? He says here, I see some people will become enlightened. If not, these people will become enlightened because they cannot not become enlightened. So who's selecting? He says, that person. He gets lost in all these teachings. Who's doing the selection? Buddhas and Bodhisattvas do selections. Not you, not me. Unless you're a Buddha or Bodhisattva, you cannot do the selection. So meaning they're watching over us. And why his way place and not other way places? Why not in Korea? Why not in Vietnam? Why not in Japan? Why not? Do you dare say your place in your Son center, that's where you select future Buddhas? No one dares talk like that. Because it's not true. Vietnamese don't talk like that. I don't dare. Because people's going to ask, who's the Buddha? Who's going to become Buddha? Who became Buddha? You keep on talking like that. People like me will ask, people actually became Buddhists here? Were selected as Buddhists here? White people like him are going to ask. It's only a white person here. Don't look around. Okay? So the selection is being done because the process enables people to become enlightened. Okay? You remember? You become enlightened, okay? Because you go through this process will bring you there in 14 weeks. This is a very powerful statement. Is that in 14 weeks, people will become enlightened because it's a 14 weeks. Okay? You see, it's an endorsement of this program where in 14 weeks of this training, this vigorous training, this painful training, his hard training is full of hardships and difficulties. Okay? People will actually become enlightened. And his people did become enlightened. So far, so good. Does it help answer the question? Does it happen in all places? No. Because this Chinese monk here brought this Dharma here called Weiyang training, and he says, I'm training you, and I'm training a bunch of people, and as this Shanti here, during this 14 weeks here, at the end of 14 weeks here, some will become enlightened. Okay, so I want to draw your attention to the fact that there's a Dharma behind it. Number one. And I will tell you something that's not obvious to you. It's about selection. The Dharma you can see. You can hear about the 14 weeks, you can hear about 3 a.m. we start meditation. 4 o'clock you stand up and you walk, or you fast, whatever. Okay, all these Dharmas here. There's this Dharma here that people can see. But what about selection? Hint, hint. Anyone has any suggestion? I don't feel like talking about it then. You got free rides. And you want more? 4.
Master, thank you. I feel like suddenly compelled to schedule an appointment at Wells Fargo for a loan consultation.
Who would like to join him? The teacher does a selection. Who else? Okay, the Chinese. You see how the Chinese, how the teaching from the Chinese is so abstract from our perspective. They said that so many things are so important, and yet you have to dig into it, analyze it. This is why. This is what's really happening, and the reason I have to explain it to you is because you look. Okay, look. If people don't become enlightened because look, all the elements are not there. You come to my place, come to Master Shehua's place, you have to pay for anything? That's the process. You don't have to pay anything. If you run out of things, well, we stop. It's okay. But it's not. You concentrate on one thing. Cultivate. That's it. Okay? And so look, so you go to a place where you have to pay for food, you have to pay for lodging, you have to pay $60 for food and lodging, or $40 for food and lodging. What about the people who are poor? Like Master Huineng, who has no money. How is he going to become enlightened? So we favor people who can afford to pay? Yes, 9.
Catholic Daniel asks, so does that mean that the master select who gets enlightened, or I misunderstood?
I cannot tell the Catholics everything. I refuse to answer that question. I take the fifth on that. Do you see? There's a Dharma behind it that has worked for the Chinese. He brought it here. Master Shua brought it here from China. It worked for the Americans here. Pay attention to that. You want to help people. It's not about money. He has to eat it himself. The money is from him, not from you. You don't have to pay. The money from the people who support this process so that when they have a chance, they will also be supported themselves. That's the Dharma behind it. Yes, 9.
Master Ping Deng Chin Ching asks, Master, does this mean you are selecting Buddhas in every chapter?
Of course not. That's obvious, isn't it? I'm not Master YongHua. Why should I be supporting it? All I have is this process here, and maybe some bodhisattva you can't see is selecting these people. But as long as someone is doing the selection, that's all that matters to you. Whoever it is, why does it matter? Could be me, most likely not. Certainly not the old monk. Because he's not here teaching. Okay? You got that? This is very important. You need to look at, I cannot tell you everything, but you need to look at the process, why it works. And why it doesn't work. It's clear. It works for him, because look at what they did. This is why we're studying this. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says. Maybe most likely because I don't understand. Okay? But this process here is documenting that actually people became enlightened with this process. They actually were selected. That's a fact. Coming from his mouth. So that's a very important revelation. So the rest of you, monks and nuns and people who want to have, chanchi and so forth, study this. Okay, maybe you yourself too can help more people. We're lucky. Here we help a bunch of people, a lot of people, the last 15 years, because I adhere to this program here, this process here. Since day one, even though I had no money. Okay? You go in, who these people who says, the master is so poor, and he organizes 1 week of chanchi, 2 weeks of chanchi, I pay for his food. For all these people's food. These people brought forth resolve to support it so that others can come and practice without worrying about money. Because if you worry about money, it's very hard for you to become enlightened. I told the Sunims that. Your system encourages you to worry about money, you won't become enlightened. All right, we stop here tonight. Thank you, everyone.